Welcome to Rising Frequencies, where we will help you apply esoteric wisdom to your daily life. I'm Andrea Mullaney, and I'm here with Lisa Risingberry. We're doing this show on behalf of the School of the Holy Science and Astrotheology Radio. Welcome, everyone. This is our fourth show. Dun, dun, dun.
Yay!
Yes. We are going to talk about a lot of different things on the show tonight. We may not get to the heart chakra, our next chakra, because we're going to recap kind of sum up the three chakras, which are the very important. There's the densest energy is in those three chakras that we covered already. And there's so much interesting activity going on right now. We have a lot of cool things to talk about, so we'll see how it goes.
I know. Before we even get to that, I mean, it's solar flares, solar flares, solar flares. We thought we were going to get a break, and we kind of did, and then it started firing off again, and kind of in a different way. And you're the sun guru. You really have a good handle, not better than I do on that. So
yes, I have been really enthralled with what's been happening with the sun and the interplay between the sun and the earth, and I've been doing a lot of research on that. And what's interesting is right now we have this big sunspot coming around the side of the sun. It's not quite earth facing yet, although it's very soon, within the next day or so, it is going to be. And it's already knocked off 8 M-class flares this week already. And on the back side of the sun, coming around, and I think by mid-November, is a humongous sunspot. And if it stays together, that one's going to be facing us in the middle of the month. So that's the end of next week. Woohoo!
Is that one different than the one that could swallow the Earth? Like it's like bigger than really. Yeah, it's even bigger than that one.
I don't know if it's bigger, but
it's a different
large
one. Wow.
BP Earthwatch did a video on it.
I did not know that.
Ago. Yeah.
Jeez.
But anyway, yeah. So the sun's bursting with solar flares right now, and it's interesting. SDO went down today. The SDO is the Solar Dynamics Observatory, and
I saw that, but I didn't know what it was.
It's where they have the best photos of the sun, and they track the activity. That's where Suspicious Observers gets his solar updates from, mostly. And they said they had wires were cut accidentally. But yeah, the wires were cut to their data center, and so they finally found them. I just checked right before this broadcast.
Wires were cut.
Yeah, accidentally cut. The fiber optic cables connecting the data center.
How do you accidentally do that?
I don't know. And they're under the ground. I don't know, maybe.
So under the ground, accidentally, wires got cut.
That's correct.
Okay.
They had to dig them up and then splice them together to get it to work again. But isn't it interesting that it happens right as that big old crazy popping
wow
flare turns toward us? Yeah.
Wow. I think I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah. Okay. But I found a very interesting model of how the Earth and the Sun work together. I knew they're always electrically coupled, but now, and of course with electricity moving, you have a magnetic field as well. And there's a man named Pier Luigi Igina. He's an Italian scientist. I believe he's passed away. He was born in 1908, so he would be quite elderly. But in the 70s, he proposed a theory called rhythm magnetica, which is magnetic rhythm, and it explained the interactions between the sun and the earth. And so, and this feels right to me, he's saying the sun sends the earth positive magnetic energy in the form, and it's light. You can see it. And it spirals down to the earth, and then the earth sends back negative energy, negatively charged magnetic energy that spirals up towards the sun. So there is an actual interplay, a push-pull transference of energy between the sun and the earth. And he says that that's the basis for gravity. And also, he says this forms, so the energy that comes from the sun is positive, magnetic energy. It's yang, it's masculine. And the earth's energy is negative, yin, feminine energy. And the two together, the push-pull and this combination of telluric earth energy and this cosmic and solar sun energy forms the basis, the essence of ether, and this rhythm that controls life force on our planet. And I really like that. It makes sense that the earth is sending energy back to the sun. It's a transference. It's not just everything coming from the sun.
Right. It's a
dance.
dance.
A dance, a push-pull rhythm. And he actually said that when the earth can cause solar flares on the sun, because the earth sending, if it sends a strong burst of magnetic energy to the sun, then the sun responds with a sunspot and then a flare, and then that's going back to the earth. It's kind of like it just gets more hot and heavy between those two. Anyway, so and a wonderful friend of mine named Kelly sent some information that was right along these lines. This was posted in a blog called The Golden Age of Gaia by a man named Steve Beckow, and it was posted today. Now, he received a note from a man named Udo Pelkowski, who he and a team of scientists conducted experiments over several years in Austria and Germany to measure life force energy. And that they call it cosmotelluric energy, and I'm like, cosmotelluric energy, that's sun earth energy, and that rhythm produces this energy. And so the basis of this life force energy idea really came from a man named Andre Bovis. He discovered it back in the 1800s, and so therefore the measurement of this energy, they're called Bovis units. They're measured in Bovis units. And so they measure the energetic output of the cosmic telluric energy output in the bioelectric magnetic fields of humans. So basically they're measuring ether. They're measuring the life force energy, the chi, the prana of humans, and everything on Earth has this around it.
Are you talking about the aura?
Kind of. It's supposed to be like there's stronger energy around sacred places, and it's literally a measurement of life force. It's a combination of electromagnetic energy, which is your aura, but also biological energy. So
wow,
it's like an aura. Wow. So they said in the 1800s, Andre Bovis, healthy humans were found to have 4,500 Bovis units of this life force energy, of cosmotelluric energy. And then the team of scientists in Austria and Germany continued the experiments. They started before 2012 because they were trying to see what happened on December 21st, 2012, basically. Before December 21st, 2012, we had already increased. The average healthy human, had 7,000 Bovis units of life force energy. After December 21st, 2012, it jumped up to 21,000, the average human Bovis units. On December 21st, 2013, listen to this, it jumped to 21 billion Bovis units.
You're
it
kidding.
Exploded. And since spring of 2014, they've been immeasurable, skyrocketed, and it's just increasing, ever expanding. And now with all the, and this is coming, I mean, with all the flares and Earth's energy exploding and all the telluric energy and then the cosmic energy coming in. I mean, it's what a time. No wonder people are going completely bananas.
Yeah.
And we're in the heart of Scorpio. Today is the full moon in Taurus, which is the opposite sign of Scorpio. So it's like Taurus, Scorpio, full moon. And it's in the heart of Scorpio. And Scorpio is the sign of transformation. So we're in the heart of the transformation right now.
Yes.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
There we go.
And you know, it's just so fascinating how they can measure that now.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Oh, yeah. It's measured with a dowsing rod. It's called a Lecher, Lecher, Lecher antenna. And they sell them all over India. I'm like looking, well, like, I want to buy a Lecher antenna. And I'm like, $455. Darn. 250 pounds. I found a place that sells it for like $50, and another guy tells you how to make them. But they're essentially, you hold the two rod things. It's like a ruler and with a piece of metal on the end, and then rods on the side, and then there's a magnetic wire and some other stuff. But you hold it, and it actually measures the bioelectric. So it's more than the electromagnetic field. It's the bioelectromagnetic field around your body.
Wow.
And then the way it's measured, basically you just compare this person to that person, and the average healthy person has this many, so that's your base for the measurement, and then it can go up or down from there.
I would love to have one of those for my practice to
Yes.
work on people, to get a reading. You know, I do that with my hands, but it's nice to have an instrument too, because I like to combine left brain and right brain when I'm working on someone to have a balance. And if I had one of those gadgets, I could do that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to get one too.
I know.
Yeah, they are available if you look through on the internet. And I think there's some that are a little more affordable than others.
Plus, if there's some people that are kind of, wow, are things shifting or things changing? Well,
according to this instrument, everyone's now off the charts. And they didn't used to be, and so now is different than then, and way different. So, and this man, this Udo Pelkowski gentleman, was he has published several articles about this, mostly in Europe and Germany. And, it's much more common, I think. There's more common knowledge in Europe than it is in the United States.
As always. we're always playing catch up over here. They seem to have their act together better than we do.
So, anyway, how about that Antares rocket?
I know that. Oh my gosh, that leads into my whole discussion, because as most people know in mainstream news, there was a rocket named Antares that exploded, and Andrea and I didn't even know that there was a Antares. How do you say it? Antares. When I think about the rocket, I can't say it. When I correlate it to astrology, Antares. That's how my brain works. It's zodiac, astrology, mainstream. It just kind of cuts off. But there was a rocket named Antares that blew up. And the interesting thing about this is that we, the two of us, have been dealing with the Antares energy before we even knew about this rocket, and it's so important. We have a show blog called Rising Frequencies. It actually started out just as my personal blog, and then we decided to name this show Rising Frequencies, and now it's our show blog. Andrea's on it as well. She just hasn't had the time to add her about me and her stuff and write on it, to add her 2 cents into some posts and things like that.
Yes, I'm catching up this weekend, I promise.
Well, good. I can't wait to read your stuff. I learned so much from you. But I had an experience. Well, let me kind of explain the method to my madness. And this is we're getting into some crazy stuff here, pretty mind blowing. I want to cover the Antares energy as the zodiac. I want to correlate that into the rocket. I want to pull in an actual experience that I blogged about that was on the astral during my lucid time that involved nuclear missiles. And then I'm going to tie it into ether, dark energy. And then we're also going to tie it into Andrea's experiences that she had with this energy. And it all took place before the day the rocket blew up. The explosion occurred after our last show. And it just blew me away. So I'm going to briefly start out going over a blog experience that I wrote on October 12th. I'm not going to go into all the details because I went into gematria and linguistics and a whole bunch of stuff. And if I go into all that right here, we'll be here forever, and I'm going to lose half the people. It's much better just to go to our blog, Rising Frequencies, at WordPress.com. And if you want to read all the details, then they're there for you. But basically, this whole journey for us started on October 12th, and I was in my lucid time on the astral, and I was on a boat, and I was facing towards the back of the boat, and which is the stern of the boat. I'm also a boater, by the way, so I didn't really understand why I was on the boat other than I'm a boater, so maybe that's my symbology. It actually was much, much more than that. But I was on a boat looking at the wake of the boat, which is what the trail of a boat leaves in the water, and I see 4 nuclear missiles take off out of the water. And I keep telling people on the boat, this is not a drill, this is the real thing. And I repeated that several times. That was it. I wake up in my 3D body thinking, what the heck was that? Nuclear energy, I'm on a boat, they're coming out of the water, and I wasn't panicked. I knew it was a positive event, but I just was clueless. So when I have experiences like this, I just let it sit. I just take it for what it is, and I know information is going to come to me when I'm ready for it. It falls into my lap during research, or it comes through other people or whatever. So the next day, I get up and I'm on Facebook, and a Facebook friend of mine sent me a message, and she said, "Hey, I just want to run something by you. See what you think about it. I was asleep last night, and I woke up," and she was kind of in between that sleepy and awake state, and she heard nuclear explosions going off, and they kind of concerned her. And oh my gosh, for me to read this right after the night that I had that astral experience, I was floored, and I was doing my happy dance. I'm like, yes, there is more to this. I don't know what it is. I'm not a scientist. I don't have a clue, but we're on to something here. So I told her, she was the only one besides Andrea that I said I had this lucid astral experience, and I told her about it, and she's just like, shut the front door, you're kidding me. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So this is good. I know it's positive. And she even said, yeah, when I heard the explosions, I wasn't upset, I wasn't scared. I don't know what it's about either, but she knew that it was a positive event. So that was the October 12th. I'm trying to get my method to my madness, my notes in front of me. From there, I decided there was a correlation with this ether that I've been writing about and that I've been talking about. That's coming in on the planet, and it's the color black, and another name for ether, AETHER, is is dark energy or dark matter. That's what the astrophysicists in the science community call it. So I knew I needed to go into the realms of science, and I'm not a science girl. So I just, said a prayer and a meditation, just asking for the missing piece. What's the missing piece? Can I just let me do my research? And I try to connect my internal Facebook, my internal computer, with the actual computer in front of me. So then I just started doing research, and I really can't tell you what I typed in. I just start typing. And I came across a scientific document, and the name of the document, and I have this on my blog. You can go to my blog, click on the document, and you can read this whole science for yourself. It's called Genesis of Dark Energy. Dark energy as a consequence of cosmological nuclear energy by Professor R.C. Grupa. So right there, that I'm like, oh, there's my holy grail. I have it. I have it now. And just the words, Genesis of dark energy. This ether that's coming in is black. Ether is associated with black and a little bit of purple. It's kind of like a ultraviolet energy. And now, as we all know, we are starting a new Genesis. We're starting a new beginning. So I found it interesting, the name that this gentleman has named his document. So I went in to read it, and right away he talks about how nuclear fission, and if I screw this up, Andrea, she's my science nerd, please jump in. Okay. How nuclear fission actually creates ether. And that blew me away. That was, for me, that was my missing link, and explained what I saw on the astral, because I saw nuclear missiles going off, out of the water. On this planet, when we think of nuclear energy, I don't think there's a person alive that's going to think of it completely positive. They're going to think of the negative polarity, and they're going to think of nuclear fusion, not fission. And there's a big difference between the two. We've experienced the negative polarity of nuclear energy more than the positive. So I knew this was a positive event. So I went into my science, which is linguistics, math, gematria, numerology. That's where I tend to geek out and nerd out. So I looked at the word nuclear, and I decided to divide it and find the meaning, the true meaning of nuclear. And I looked up the meaning of nu, N-U, and it means frequency. And then you're left with C-L-E-A-R, clear. So and nuclear energy creates ether. So nuclear, in a sense, means clear frequency. Frequency clear. So that blew me away. And that really correlated with my experience and started to pull this great big puzzle all together. Then from there, and like I said, go back and read the blog, because I go into so much cool detail. Before we even got to the rocket, we were on this show, we were discussing the sacral chakra. And we were discussing healing and how to go about that. And Andrea shared, and I'm going to let her go into what she experienced. And you have to remember, Scorpio is connected to the reproductive area. It's connected to the sacral chakra. Antares is the heart of Scorpio. So I'm going to let Andrea chime in on the experiences that she had on the show before the rocket blew up. So I'll let you go.
Yes. And my dreams, I have very vivid dreams that I mostly remember them, and they are metaphored usually. I'm sure most people's dreams are metaphored. So I was working to heal my sacral chakra and the energies there. If from the second show I talked about, or during the second show I talked about a lot of issues that I had with my sacral chakra, and as I was talking, I cleared a lot of that. And that night, I placed a ruby on. I just felt like I'm going to do this. I placed the ruby on I laid on my back and placed it on my sacral chakra about 2 inches below my belly button. And I went to sleep. During the night, I had very vivid dreams where I was walking through crowds of men, and they were soliciting me, and I was turning them down. I was just walking through, and I did it with love and compassion. It wasn't mean or haughty or anything like that. And I was just like, no. And I was being in my proper goddess energy, not being in proper power energy, feminine power, as opposed to the perverted version of that, because our sacrals can get so twisted and warped, and the sexuality and everything. And anyway, so I was correcting that, and I walked through a group of men, went to a restroom, and I began to comb my hair. And as I was combing my hair,
I lost you for a minute.
Walking in my hair, and I'm like, so I started.
This is really important information, and it's very high level, and I'm trying my best to keep my energy contained, because I just get so excited with the ether, and I'm when we get to my further information, it might just shut down 3 or 4 more times.
I know. I'm excited too. Yeah, we have to not overwhelm the technology with it.
I know. And I've been buzzing and vibrating in my hands, and when you hear one of my personal experiences that I'm going to lead into later, you're going to see, we probably should have waited a couple days, honestly, for this energy that I'm carrying right now to kind of settle down. But my crazy schedule has prevented us from recording. So, we just decided, nope, we need to record this show, onward and upward. So I'm going to kick it back off to Andrea. She was talking about her experience healing her sacral chakra, and we're tying this into Antares. She was talking about ants. Her symbol. Now, one thing I do want to say about the ant energy is, if you look at the word Antares, Antares, the first 3 letters is ant. Mm-hmm. So that was a big clue. It basically just told us why she is always experienced negative sexual energy as ants. So yes. I'm going to give it back to her.
That's right. So when I was walking in my dream, when I was walking through and healing that energy, and walking through the men, saying no, uncreating what I had created before, and I go into the restroom, and as I think this was recorded, but I started combing my hair, and ants are in my hair, and I'm like, what? And I'm flicking them out, and then I bend my head over, and I start shaking my head, and tons of ants just come pouring out of my ear, my right ear. They just all fell out. And I'm like, well, it's good to get those out of there. And then I woke up because that freaked me out. And then I'm like, what the heck? And then the very next evening, I was driving my son to a birthday party in a part of town I'd never been to before. And I had to turn around. It was in the evening, and help him in the back seat. So I got out of the car, and as I was walking around the car, a scorpion ran right in front of my feet. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, okay. So then I told Lisa, and she and I are like, whoa, okay, let's see. We have a scorpion cross my path. We had ants in the dream, and we had a ruby placed on my belly, and we're in Scorpio now as well. And so it all came together. It's Antares.
We need to we have to go back to the ruby.
That's right.
Because when she told me about the ruby, and this was, I don't know, I guess a week after October 12th. It was before our last show. It was after our second show, because our second show was the Sacral chakra. Yeah. So it was after our second show. And she told me about her amazing experience with the ruby, and she went into great detail about that.
That's right.
She went into detail with that on the second show. You really got to check that out. So she's telling me this, and I said, well, this is all connected to Antares. I said, but the fixed star in Scorpius, Antares, is red. That's why you picked a ruby. She didn't know that. I knew that. She didn't know that. She just picked the ruby because that's what she resonated with.
And the first thing I found when I looked up Antares and the Scorpio, it said Antares is the ruby heart of Scorpio. Oh my goodness. And yes, when I put that ruby on my belly, it was, as I was sleeping, it was moving on me. And it actually woke me up. I had to remove it because it was like twisting into my stomach. It really was, I swear. I felt it by the time I woke up, I still felt it. So there. But yes, the ruby heart of Scorpio is Antares.
Yeah.
And there is a ruby, ants, and a scorpion all together, all wrapped with sex and the sign of Scorpio. So it's very symbolic.
And at the time of this, we had 3 zodiac alignments with Scorpio. Scorpio also points to the center of the galaxy, center of the Milky Way. It points home. And it is a symbol of transformation. The zodiac was born in the heart of Scorpio, which is Antares. And that's the energy we're in right now. And that's why that rocket was named Antares. There's just no mistake. There's no coincidences. This time period that we're in right now, today, and I actually will be in it for another 2 to 3 week period, is huge. It's either going to awaken people, or your life's it's going to fall apart, which will then awaken people. So depending on where you are in alignment, you're either, if this energy is either going to help you, or it's going to tear you apart before it helps you. That's just the best way to put it. It's we also have the full moon falling in Antares, but we also have a very interesting alignment. We have Mars joining Pluto in Capricorn. What's so cool about this is Mars is the ruler of Scorpio, but Pluto is also the co-ruler of Scorpio. Pluto involves the energy of the soul, and Mars is very, headstrong. It's also, Mars is also the ruler of Aries, which is the head, very dominant, wants to go, expand more. So you have that energy in Mars. You have it joining the energy of Pluto, which is the soul, which they're both the co-ruler of Scorpio, which is the sign of transformation and ascension. So basically, right now, we are really being pushed at the highest level that we can possibly get to right now to change or be changed.
That's right. And Saturn has been in the sign of Scorpio since October of 2012. And when Saturn moves into your sign, it pushes whoever is, all the Scorpios out there.
I'm one.
Yes, my father. He's been through. You go through your biggest life's challenges when Saturn's in your sign, and it tends to stay in, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but luckily, Saturn is moving out on December 23rd out of Scorpio, and then it's coming back in July of 2015 to September of 2015 for a little bit longer than it's done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Saturn is, just imagine the taskmaster planet pushing on Scorpio, which is transformation, and that's happening for everybody. Scorpio is the most powerful sign of the zodiac, and it's affecting all of us. And so there's double transformation going on, and right now we're in the heart with the moon, and it's right, I think, full in Aldebaran and Antares, right in there.
Yes.
So yeah,
and
really cool.
And Taurus is opposite Scorpio, and they're fixed signs. They're two of the signs, the four signs of the New Age. And so if you're a Taurus, you're really going to be feeling this as well. Yeah, you really are, in a different way. Taurus is about more earthly possessions, and of course Scorpio is the fixed water sign. But what happened is she had all those experiences, and then we did our third show and recapped all that, and really went into the solar plexus and your will and everything. I believe it was 2 days after our third show is when the rocket Antares blew up.
Right. And then she posts this. She's like, Andrea, a rocket called Antares. She posted the little news blurb. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
I thought it was a
joke.
joke.
A rocket called Antares
I
exploded. What do you mean?
A friend of mine, Suzanne, Facebook friend, she's very, very tuned in, was the first to post that, and I thought it was a joke. I really thought it was a joke. I had to Google it and I feel like such a hypocrite. But once I saw it on all these other mainstream news sites, and it was everywhere. By the time it got around to me, it was everywhere that day. That there really was a rocket named Antares that blew up, and I'm thinking, okay, and I'm not going to go down the conspiracy trail. And I know that's what everyone is waiting for, because I can feel it before you even listen to this, that everyone wants to know what were they up to. And I don't care what they were up to. I really don't give a rat's butt what they were up to, because it doesn't matter. They can do whatever the heck they want to do. It's not going to work. And the reason why this rocket collapsed 100% is because of this ether that's coming in. And it has been really increasing at a rapid rate. And you take that back to October 12th, my experience. I was on a boat, okay? The first mishap that they had with the Antares rocket not being able to take off was because a boat was in their caution zone. So you have to understand the principle of correspondence and the way the the spiritual realms work. We as a collective do things on the as above, and that filters down into the physical. So there was a boat. I'm not lying. You can think I'm a wackadoodle. That's all right. There was a boat on the astral level. I was on it. That boat then manifested into the physical and was in the caution zone in Wallops, Virginia, which is where this rocket took off. So already the nuclear frequency of those rockets that I saw set off were creating a very large amount of ether, which anything that is not in aligned with this frequency of ether, it just can't happen. And obviously this rocket that they named Antares, which the powers that be know the holy science. They have studied it, they practice it, and they know it. Most people don't get it. They get it. And so that's why, we're trying to wake up the rest of the people to this information so that you can use it for your benefit. and they will stop using it for our detriment. And those days are over. So ether stopped this rocket. So I decided to do the math. You know, I love gematria. I love numerology. It's the veil. It shows us truth. And the powers that be, or the powers that were, they know this science as well. So I got out my handy dandy gematria calculator. You can find one online, or Marty Leeds to me is the gematria guru. He's very good, and he can teach you how to do it by hand. I need a calculator for everything, so I do mine the wimp way. I pull out my calculator. But I did the gematria for Wallops, which is the barrier island that this rocket took off from. And the gematria for that is 588. Now when you take those numbers, 5 is the number of transformation, 88, those are two infinity numbers. Very, very high frequency and very important. And then I decided to do the gematria for Virginia. And it is the mirror image of Wallops. Wallops was 588. The gematria for Virginia is 885. Huge. So there is that frequency right there. And that's another reason why this location was picked, because they're trying to use gematria in their favor, but they can't. They can't do it anymore. If you go from gematria and you take it to Plato, the Pythagorean numerology, the one that most people are familiar with, and you add 885 together, you get 21. You know you have to reduce it more because 21's not a master number, and you get 3. 3 is the number of Trinity. And of course we all know mind, body, and soul. That's a very powerful number. So then I decided to take it a step further, and I did the gematria for Wallops, Virginia, and that comes to 1122. 2 master numbers, 11 and 22. 11, of course, is the number of awakening. 22 is the master builder number. Right. So amazing why that location was picked. Then it gets better and better. I did the gematria for nuclear, Nuclear, and that is 444, which blew me away. 444 is associated with archangels. The biggest thing to me, 444 is associated with our current basic 4 elements. And as we know, nuclear energy, the correct nuclear energy, creates the 5th element. So that was just mind-blowing to me. Then the kicker, the holy grail of gematria, and I'm telling you, I was not expecting this result. I did the gematria for nuclear energy, and it is 888. 888, 3 infinity symbols. I can't even begin to tell you how important 888 is. It is the number that is associated with Christ consciousness. It is the number associated with ether. It's triple infinity. It's gosh.
That's right. I mean, if you create something nuclear power with, or nuclear energy using cold fusion, which is possible, by the way, it's good, wonderful power and energy, and it's infinite. It's 888.
Yeah, it's 888. It's ether.
It's very creative as well.
Yes. It's also, if the and here's where I need my Andrea. Oxygen, the atomic number, is it the atomic number 888?
Yeah, the atomic number. The atomic number for carbon is, the number of man is 666. Oxygen and nuclear energy is 888. Yes.
And ether is 888. And we're breathing large amounts of that through oxygen, which is 888. So that was just absolutely mind blowing. And psychically, clairvoyantly, and I have written about this as well, I can see this ether coming into the planet. And it is the color black. It's dark matter. It's dark energy. It's always been here. It's not like we've never been without it. It's just that we had less than 50% here, especially since now we're, coming out of the Iron Age, and we're right where we're supposed to be. It's not like we were supposed to have massive amounts and someone cut the line. We have the right amount that we were supposed to have. However, in the past very, very recent, in the past month, we crossed the 50% line. We're about 53% ether on this planet. We have never been there. Never since the Golden Age. Never since the Golden Age. And you have to remember, we've had 4 Golden Ages. We've had 4 galactic years. 26,000 years makes 1 galactic year. We've had 4 of those. That's why they call it the 5th sun. So if you were to take all 4 of those galactic years and put a circle around them, they would be called something. I don't know what they're called, but they, because we have 4 galactic years, those 4 galactic years make up something big. We're starting a 5th. We're starting a new Genesis. And with this new Genesis comes a more powerful ether than they even had in the prior Golden Ages. Because it's new. It's brand new. Brand spanking new. It's so incredible. And I just want to kind of touch base with an example of how incredible this energy is and where we are moving. And tie it in with Ascension symptoms, because right now, since we are at 53% of this energy, and we have not experienced this in physical bodies, it's a lot. It's why people are going crazy. It's why Ascension symptoms are getting so severe. And while it's difficult, it's also amazing. We have a group of friends that we went through a lot with. And we have a little Skype chat room that we all touch base and we have spiritual conversations. The number one conversation that all of our friends are having, and I'll give a little shout out to them, it's the round table.
Yeah,
the round table crew is ether and the pyramids and ancient Egypt. And we have some people in this group that are very well versed in this knowledge. And I was talking, they wanted to, talk about how the pyramids were built. And the pyramids were built with this 5th element of ether in their golden age. When they built them, they had an abundance of it because it was the golden age, and they could levitate large stones and create the pyramids. I love the show Ancient Aliens, but Ancient Aliens did not build the pyramids. We are the ancient aliens that built the pyramids with our own internal technology, which is ether.
That's right.
And the cool thing is, I see, and I will put myself out on a limb, but I see if this energy continues to come in at the rate that it's coming in, and it can be tracked visually, I see by March the entire planet saturated 100% with this energy. And at some point, and I don't know when, the first step is for the planet to be covered with dark energy, and that is the void. That's the great void of creation, the womb of creation.
Womb. That's right. That's why it's black.
Yes.
And
with a little bit of purple, it's like
a little bit of violet.
Yeah.
Ultraviolet. Because it's beyond our comprehension, our visual. It's outside of our ability to perceive. That's why it's so dark. But it's the womb. It's the mother, the inside the vesica Pisces. That's what this energy is creative. It's the Black Genesis energy.
It is, and there is a book, Black Genesis, by the way, and I believe it was written by Robert Bauval. You might want to check that out, Black Genesis, and that's what we're in right now. It's black energy, dark energy, God particle, whatever you want to name it, prana, chi, Christ consciousness. I see that first stage completely covering the earth by March. At some point, it's going to turn gold. And I can't say when it's going to turn gold. I can't see that far. But I do see by March us having the planet saturated in this. Now, does that mean that you're going to be able to levitate things and build pyramids? There's always a whatever, and there's always a but, and the answer is no. And the reason why is, now your life will change. You're going to have a better existence. Things are going to be different on this planet, but it all comes down to inner alchemy. You know, you're going to get out of this energy what you put into it. The ancients at the time studied the holy sciences. They did their inner work. They cleared their chakras. That's what the pyramids were for. They weren't tombs. They were tools for ascension. They were tools to raise the level of consciousness within the human body, both on the astral and in the physical. And the more clear you got, the more, when you take out the goo and you take out the gunk, fears and all the crappy stuff, your old baggage, you make room for this ether energy. And depending on where you're blocked, that's as far as it's going to go. If you're blocked at the sacral, even if you're not really having too many throat issues, this energy won't flow any further than your sacral or your root.
That's right. You've got to close the circuit. You've got to allow it just to, or complete the circuit. Allow it just to flow all the way through you. You have to have every one of your chakras clear. You don't want to have any dense energy that'll block it. Just let the ether go. I mean, our bodies have to rise to match the level of this ether so we can perceive it. And perhaps when we get to that point, then we see it as gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I believe it's going to turn gold on the planet. Yeah. But as far as it coming through people, that's up to us on an individual basis. Everybody's on their journey at a different level, and we all vibrate at different levels. But it is basically, you reap what you sow. The more work you do, the more you're going to be able to pull this through you, and the more of your natural abilities, your internal technology is going to flip on.
That's right.
The other kicker is how much in these current physical bodies can we take advantage of this new element? I have no idea, because this has never been done. Right now our bodies operate at 666, 666. They are going to switch to 888, which we'll go into that later on. But, is there a big reset button for our bodies? Or are we going to recycle what we currently have and use what we have to take advantage of this new ether energy? Who knows? No one can say, because we've never been here. And if anyone says they have the answers, they're full of it.
That's right. We're creating as we're
exactly.
We are
black.
Pioneers.
Yeah, black.
We're pioneers.
Yes.
And yeah, it's all black right now.
Think of a chalkboard. What color is a chalkboard?
That's right.
Black.
Yeah. Until you draw
on it, and that's what we're doing. And we're going to have a complete chalkboard by, I believe, March, and we're going to be creating on it. I do want to touch base also. Well, another cool thing about the pyramids is that it operated on the pyramids were tools of ascension, but they were also power generators.
Right.
And there are
orgone accumulators.
Yes.
They gathered earth energy, holy earth energy.
Mm-hmm. And orgone is connected to ether. And if you look in the different temples in Egypt, they have drawings of light bulbs. Many light bulbs being powered with no wires, and if you look at if you've ever been to the pyramids, or if you look at pictures, they don't have the ways to light the inside. Right now they have wires and things like that, but back in ancient Egyptian times, they didn't have torches to carry in there. It would have eaten up the oxygen in there. They had light bulbs that were powered by ether. Our king of this knowledge is Tesla. Tesla knew how to power things without a plug, wirelessly, and over 500 of his patents are censored, and the basis of them is ether. This amazing science. And so that's another thing that the pyramids were used for, and that's what we're heading towards.
I'd like to give a shout out to this lovely blog that
oh yes, oh my gosh,
it's called Ether Force. Woohoo, Ether Force.
Yeah.
ETHERFORCE.com. It's wonderful, and it has some great information on the pyramids and what they're used for, what they can be used for now, and how to make them safe. There's some like correct a pyramid by drawing little lines around the to get the correct energy in. There's all kinds of stuff on this site, and there's a link to a free book, a fabulous book on pyramid power and the correct use of pyramids and what they can do, and historical information, and it's free of charge. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly some of the and how new. The information I'm finding now, I've never seen this stuff online before. Just so much more is coming. I think this started this year. This site we came on this year. Woo-hoo.
I know. Well, that
so
site's only I think it's just a few months old.
Yeah, just a few months old. So yeah, it's really neat. So.
It's very, very science. It's just amazing. You just have to check it out. Go check it out for sure. And I need to kind of bring to everyone's attention. Usually right now we would take a break. However, since we lost Mixlr, I had to stop recording on Mixlr and start a new second recording. I lost my music that I already had programmed in.
It's okay.
So if you want to take a break, you can go ahead.
You can hit pause.
You can hit pause. I don't know if y'all listened to the music that we provided or not. We had really good songs picked out.
Hey, we can play them next week when we
can play.
Get to the heart chakra, because they match that. Anyway.
They do, but this is our break time that we were going to take, but we're going to keep on trudging along. So what I wanted to discuss after the music was the Ascension symptoms, that a lot of the things that I've been experiencing and my friends have been experiencing, and what I've been reading about, friends in my physical world and friends in my social network as well. And one of them is physical balance, like actual events. This new energy can create freak accidents, and the reason why is if you are and my husband had experiences with this weekend, and he is the kind of person where he's always in total alignment, he's always in balance, and I'm so glad that he kind of got knocked off balance, because it gave me something to talk about. Yeah, really. Yeah. But if you're doing work, let's say you're doing work around the house, and you're not in the now, and let's just say you're living in the past, you're gonna have a little mishap. And anything that is not in alignment with this energy, if you're not really being the observer, if you're not lucid during your awake time, you're gonna have problems. You have to be lucid asleep. That's always everyone's goal, and that's why everyone wants to lucid dream, or got a lucid dream. That's like so great. But before you can really lucid dream, you have to be lucid in your physical life. And right now, this new energy that we've crossed the 50% mark is going to help you if you're not the observer and really watching what you're doing, being in the now, you're going to get your butt kicked. I've have a friend that broke her finger. I have someone else was in one of my Facebook friends was like in a kayak accident. My husband had this big heavy wooden thing that covers our filter and our pool box slam on his hand. Yeah, we're lucky it wasn't broken. How it wasn't broken, I'm not even going to ask, but so lucky. So yeah, you have to physically be in balance and really be in the now. And please pay attention to when you're driving, if you're on the roof, anything you're doing, make sure you are in that moment.
You're present, absolutely. I've had little things happen to me too. I was driving and trying to screw on a lid on my water. I wasn't paying attention, just dropped it, and I'm like, oh, I dropped the lid. I'm like, I better not reach down, because then I'm trying to not spill the water the whole way, and I dropped a cup out of my hand. I just wasn't paying attention, and boom. I'm like, what? Am I just losing my mind as I'm shaving my legs? I cut all along the bone on my ankles.
Oh,
just like
ouch.
ripped.
And these things happen. These things happen all the time, But now that we've crossed that 50% mark, it's going to really increase.
Yes.
So
I haven't cut my leg like that in years.
Yeah. So if you're someone who's always been accident prone your whole life, I don't know what to say. And you're really going to have to step it up and stay present. And if you're someone like my husband who just is very well balanced and doesn't have freak accidents because he's always paying attention, you're going to be challenged. You're going to know as soon as you're not in balance, something's going to happen. And I kind of feel, depending on how imbalanced you are, could be a correlation to how big of an event you go through. I hope not, because it's tough. But that's, now that we're at the 53% mark of this ether, that's what's going to come that is what is here now. I'm not going to say that's what's coming our way. We're in it.
And be careful of your thoughts. Make sure you pay attention to what you're thinking and what you're feeling, and because what you put out there is coming back faster than it ever has before.
Mm-hmm.
We can really be creating our reality right now. I mean,
that's what ether is used for. It's
yes.
Also it's creation. It's Genesis. It's creation.
I mean, so much synchronicities happen with just you and
Mm-hmm.
I, because we share so much with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see, this Facebook person on Facebook said this, and it's like as soon as we bring up a topic, everyone else is talking about it also.
Yeah.
And it's hitting the collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
We're all connected. I mean, that New Age saying "we are all one" is correct in its proper energy. We're not like the Borg, if you're a Trekkie, and we're not a hive mind. We have individual soul journeys. Everyone is on their path differently, but we all are connected. And it's ether, it's the God particle, it's source energy that connects us through our collective consciousness. And then, of course, you have your own personal journey.
That's right.
That makes your soul presence individual.
We're like cells in a body.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Each one is individual and has its own growth, but it's all part of a larger being.
Yes.
Larger thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Some of I've been dealing with headaches lately, and it's all due to this new energy coming in. And last week we were talking about a lot with Ascension symptoms and what to do to to get some relief, because you can't just say, well, it's not a virus, it's not a bacteria, it's Ascension. I just have to tough it out and suffer and it'll work itself out. It won't. You have to balance the physical body. If you don't, your ascension symptoms are going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. So when you have them, you need to nip it in the butt, raise that frequency, fix whatever was going on, so that when you're presented with it again, it won't be as bad. For me, mine are in my head, up in the crown, and I had the craziest headache, and it just wasn't a normal headache, and it hurt so bad that I'll confess, I actually did something I never do. I took Advil. I took it over the counter because I just had so much I needed to do, that I was hoping and crossing my fingers that maybe it wasn't energetic. And the Advil did nothing. It did nothing. And I had been trying my oils. I did a 2-hour meditation, which usually meditation is very good. And my favorite is Tumo, Inner Fire, which is a way of transformation and purifying your chakras, which we'll go into that later. But I did that. I blocked out my, went to no thought, went into altered states of consciousness. And when I came, and while I was in the meditation, I felt great. As soon as I came out of it, it was like, whoop, there it is. The headache hit me again, and it was worse. What I didn't realize was I went into your as above inner alchemy, which I'm going to go into on the astral level in meditation, and I just wanted to escape the physical body because I was in so much pain. So I went back to my oils. I went back to my energy frequency tapping, which we can discuss that at another point. I did my actual physical energy work, and I did a lot of affirmations and a lot of whining and crying to my guides because I just wanted relief. And then eventually, after I did all those things, I did get relief. But it wasn't just one thing just didn't take this ascension symptom away. I had to keep doing multiple things because each of your remedies for an ascension symptom has a different frequency. And when you put those all together, you make a ascension symptom cocktail. And I made my own little cocktail, and it worked. And I was good. Until last night. And oh my gosh, I was asleep last night, and I woke up, and my head hurt at a level that I thought what I felt previously, that was a walk in a park. This was freaky. There was like a two-part to the pain. There was like a pain in the center of my head, and then there was a pain that covered my whole head. I woke up, I couldn't move, I couldn't raise my head off my pillow. I couldn't move. And I wasn't scared because the old me would have been like, oh my gosh, they're after me. They're coming to get me again, I wasn't there. I wasn't afraid. I knew there was a positive reason for this, and just didn't quite know what. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even cry out to my husband, for help so we could tune in to see what was going on. I just couldn't move. It hurt that bad, and it felt that weird. And it was after that, it was like someone gave me a pill, like a sleeping pill, and I was just like knocked out. And then I pop out into an altered state of consciousness, and I'm on the spiritual realm, and then there's a healer working on me, and there's multiple ones, and they're just working, and I can feel this energy, just going on in my head. And then when I woke up, it was gone. It was completely gone. And what I've been left with all day is this like swirling in my head, just like kind of like a tornado of energy slowly swirling. And my hands, if I take out my arms and I stretch them out to to the fullest capacity of my length of my arms, and I raise them up and down, my hands vibrate like tuning forks. I've never experienced this before, so I don't know if anyone else is feeling that, but I just turn into a tuning fork, and then if I bring my hands in towards the center of my body, they go away. Andrea's experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, I've been extremely buzzy the past few days. On Monday I was dead tired. It was like moving through mud. And the prior week also, just exhausted with all the prior energy that was coming in with and the eclipse and all of that stuff. I was wiped out, and I could barely get up in the morning really abnormally tired. And that all stopped. As of Tuesday, it's just been like, and I'm just buzzy. My hands have been vibrating for a couple days where, if I hold them still, or God forbid I hold a crystal in my hand, it's like, yeah. And when Lisa said her hands were vibrating like tuning forks, I'm like, aha. Yeah. I've been extremely energized, like overly so. And yeah, it's just, you never know what you're gonna get.
No, and we were even questioning whether or not we should do the show because we are both so buzzy, and especially me, I'm really having to work hard to be coherent and to make myself not sound like a wackadoodle because of what I experienced last night that went on in my wee little brain. But another thing that I've been experiencing, and I'm hoping more people are experiencing this, is inner alchemy work being done in dream state. And that's actually called dream yoga. You do inner alchemy in the spiritual realms, and you do inner alchemy in your physical body, which is what we have been discussing with affirmations and using crystals and clearing your chakras and things like that. Dream yoga is where you clear yourself and you clear issues in sleep. And in order to be able to get to that point of the dream yoga practice, you have to start to be able to lucid dream. And your first step in lucid dreaming is really to be more lucid in this 3D reality. And that is through meditation, being aware of what you're currently doing, not just like hammering a nail like what I was talking about. That's part of it, but it's also when you're talking to someone, what energy are you using? If they make you feel bad, are you judging them? Are you lashing back out? Are you catching yourself quickly? Are you living a conscious life, basically? Or are you being mean? That's what it really means to be lucid and to be awake. A lot of people who think they're awake aren't. And I know that's a big disappointment. To be technically, consciously awake, you need to be lucid in this state, and you need to be lucid in your dream state, because this is something that a lot of people don't want to hear, but it's true. This is not my teaching. This is ancient Arcanian knowledge. Predates Egyptians, but they do the best, and the Tibetans are experts at dream yoga. You need to be lucid as above, so below. Both are dream states. This is essentially a dream. The objects you're touching in front of you are a hologram. They really aren't real. And that's a little bit trippy for people. To be fully awake, you need to be fully awake as above, you need to be fully awake as below. Dream yoga helps you do that, because that is the inner alchemy in the dream state. We spend a third of our life sleeping, going from one dimension to another, and people just take it for granted. In a sense, you're asleep while you're in this reality, and
That's right. I'm sorry, Dad.
Oh, no, jump in. Jump in.
I'm so excited. Yes, when we live on, as a human, we have 3D and 4D lives. The 3D life is your physical life. Your 4D life is your astral life.
Mm-hmm.
And you have an astral body for that aspect of you, and you have your physical and electromagnetic bodies, your ego, and your physical body, which are mainly down here with the soul connected through the heart center. But yeah, you have your astral body that needs to be taken care of too, all three bodies, and you heal your astral body through your dreams and your dream state, and that's when you're having your 4D experiences. So yeah, we're 3D and 4D, and that's why everyone said when we ascend, we're moving to 5D. Why? Because we're already in 3D and 4D. Mm-hmm. We're both.
Right.
So anyway, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And we also have an etheric body, which is another issue. That's so right. There, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you know how some people say, "Well, I feel like I'm walking in two worlds." Well, we all are. Every single person that's in a physical body, there are no chosen special ones. All of us are walking in two worlds. You walk in this world, which is 3D, and then when you go to sleep, you walk into the other world. If you could kind of, when you go to sleep, you can, and this might freak some people out, but if you study Bardo and you study dream yoga, when you go to sleep at night, it's practice for when you die. Okay? Because when you die, you drop the body. Well, when you sleep, you drop the body as well. You just don't drop it permanently. But the realms that you go to when you're asleep, that's where you start. That's where you go when you die. So dying is like sleeping. It really, you just walk into another world without that cord. You totally cut that. That's the only difference. So this is what the ancient Egyptians taught, which is so cool. Dying consciously. And the way to do that is to be conscious when you're lucidly asleep, but it all starts at the root. Everything starts at the root. And by meaning the root, it starts in physicality. You need to be lucid and be aware of your physical life, what kind of a life you're leading. Are you leading? What kind of a person you are? Your thoughts. What are you creating? How are you treating people? What are you eating? It's a big deal because it's your physical body. Your astral body is connected to your physical body. If your physical body isn't very high vibrating because you aren't really taking care of it, that transfers over. It's not like they're separate. And when you finally die, what you created in the physical goes with you. And so that's why you need to die consciously. And the ancient Egyptians were the best to teach this, and I've talked about this before, which is the weighing of the heart. Obviously they don't really cut out your heart, and is the feather. There really isn't a feather that you're being weighed against. But what that story is about is you take two vibrations and two different levels of consciousness. One's your physical body. What does that vibrate at? How conscious are you in your physical body? That makes up a vibration. That's your physical vibration. If you draw a Merkaba or you draw a Star of David, and you look at this while I explain it, it kind of makes it a little bit easier. If you look at the downward facing triangle and you put the word matter there, that's the frequency of your body. Okay? Then if you look at the upward pointing triangle and you put the word spirit at the top, that's what you vibrate. Your soul, your light. How much light do you have? Those two, spirit and matter, come together in the center of the Merkaba at your heart. Also cube of space. We'll get into that later. Those two frequencies are added together to make one frequency, the merging of spirit and matter, and that is the birth of your Christed self. Okay? That is the one frequency. The two shall become one. That's what that means. Spirit and matter merged in the center of your heart. So that one frequency then, in mythology, is weighed against the feather. Now, the feather is light. So you want that one frequency to be very light, very fluffy. When it hits that frequency, you are lucid in both the top of the pyramid and in the bottom of the pyramid. You're lucid in matter, in your physical body, and then you're lucid in spirit. And you get to practice that spirit consciousness when you are asleep. And you get to practice your physical vibration right now while you're listening to us. And that is actually the purpose of your magnum opus, the great work of all of humanity, and the purpose of modern day alchemy.
That's right. And it's merging of spirit and matter is ego and soul.
Ego and soul, male, female. And I got to pull the math in. I was going to wait, but I just have to do this because this is just amazing to me. If you take at the bottom of the triangle and put a 6, our bodies are 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. We're carbon based, 666. That's not Antichrist, throw that out. It's the number of our bodies. It's the number of our physicality, 6. Right. So just write 1 6. At the top of the triangle, you're going to write the number 9. The number 9 is associated with consciousness. Okay? Now, if you take the number 6 and you merge it with the number 9, you get 8.
That's right. The 9 joins the 6, and the 2 circles come together, and you have infinity.
Infinity! And that infinity is in the center of the Merkaba, and it is the number of ether. It's the number of Christ consciousness, and that's the number of our new bodies. 888. We're going from 666 to 888. My friend Lisa Renee has also blogged about that as well last year. We had a great conversation about that, and that's where we're heading to now. And then the great question is, well, are we going to go from 666 and recycle our current bodies to go to 888, or is there going to be some kind of galactic reset button and we're all going to wake up with 888 bodies? I don't know. I don't care as long as we get there. Makes no difference to me. I won't know the difference either way. So, pretty cool stuff.
Yes.
So at this point, because we lost our music, I guess let me do a quick time check. We're at about an hour and a half. I don't know if you want this might be a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah. Do you want to do the candle gazing exercise? Walk them through.
Well, sure. I can go through that. A good way to create more lucidity in your waking life and to carry that over into your sleeping, and this exercise is a prerequisite for tumo, which is inner fire, which is purification through fire. First you're baptized by water, then you're baptized by fire, which is tumo. And when you practice tumo, you can clear in a matter of months what could take years. However, and I'm going to put legalese here. However, if you jump right into the practice of tumo and don't do the prerequisites, and most people don't like to do that. They want to get to the goodies, and they don't want to do the basics first. You are creating real fire within you, and you can burn your endocrine system and deprive it of water And that will create serious health problems as well as some serious psychic issues. So I would like to be able to get into Tumo and discuss that and really encourage people to practice that. But you really have to do some prerequisites first. And the first one, and my favorite, and I've been doing this my whole life and didn't even know it. Didn't know what it was, but I've been doing this since I was like 4 years old because I'm weird. Is candle gazing, or also known as Trataka. 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 Candle gazing. And the purpose of this is to develop your will and your intention, to make it laser pointed focus, so that when you go in and you clear your chakras, or if you are really just monkey mind, you can use your will and intention from your solar plexus to pull you back into balance. Or if you're in meditation, you can use this laser pointed focus, will and intention to just clear one chakra or one cauldron. You have 3 cauldrons, lower, middle, upper, and you cook those cauldrons. But before we can start cooking, we need to do some prerequisites. So now this is the way I like to do tataka, or I'm just going to say candle gazing. I'm terrible with bigger words. But if you want to research it, there's many methods out there to do this. The Tibetans would have a whole great big room, and all of the initiates would sit around, and you would have your own little cubicle and your own little candle staring at it. This takes a lot of will. When you're doing it, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you're going to get bored. You're going to think it's a waste of time. Why am I staring at this stupid candle? Your monkey mind is going to go nuts, and that's good because you want to stop it. You want to be in control of you. This teaches you to be in control of your mind. It will teach you to be in control of your own inner fire when you start to get into higher practices, so that your energy doesn't run amok. It also teaches you how to be in control as far as psychic protection. It just does so many wondrous things.
You're like taming a wild horse.
You are. You're taping that
taming your consciousness.
Taming your consciousness.
Focus.
And your
focus your attention.
Kundalini.
And your Kundalini. Yeah.
Because, there are so many people that think they have had Kundalini experiences, and they haven't. They haven't, because they don't have the will and the intention to hit that frequency. Some people do have spontaneous experiences, and they're unhealthy. You want to be in control of your own Kundalini. You have to have the control. This is going to teach you to have the control. But it's like everything else, it's not easy. You think, I can stare at a candle. This takes determination. So you don't have to, if you don't want to look at a candle, that's okay. You can start staring at anything. But Tesla used this. Einstein used this. The ancients used candle gazing to enter altered states of consciousness once they got really good at it, to tap into the Akashic records, to receive universal knowledge for how to use ether, how to create the Tesla coil, what is the universe made of, how do the planets work together, how all this information about astrology. This is where they got this information, was in altered states of consciousness, and they used candle gazing. They didn't have TV or cell phones, so they stared at candles. For a lot of the ancients, it was the only form of light they had, and this knowledge was known back then. It was just normal. So light a candle. You need to be in a dark room, obviously. you can, place it about 3 to 4 feet in front of you. Make sure you're comfortable. I recommend with any meditation or any spiritual practice, good posture. You want to have your spine straight because that is your kundalini, that's your central nervous system, that's your middle pillar. And you want to be in a nice relaxed state. I prefer, for me, no shoes because I like to have my feet without any rubber. I just want natural naked feet. Make sure that the flame is at eye level. And it's if you wear contacts, I don't, but I have heard people that wear contacts that they have issues. If you can stare at a flame without the contacts, take them off because you really aren't using your 3D sight. You're going to be using your psychic clairvoyant vision in this practice. And what you want to do is you want to stare at the flame. Don't move. And this is the hard part. This is where the monkey mind clicks in. You don't move a muscle and you don't blink, and you really want to try to clear the mind. Just empty it, and you're going to stare at this candle in total darkness and just surrender. Let it burn away whatever it wants to. You're going to stare at it until your eyes begin to water and it gets uncomfortable. And then you're going to close your eyes. This opens up your third eye. And it can kind of give you a marker for where your third eye is. You're going to see the after vision, the reflection on your screen. When you close your eyes and you see nothing, you see black, that's your screen. That is your psychic screen. That's where you're going to see visions. You're going to see colors. You're going to see sparks of light. And if you don't see anything yet, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Most people start out seeing just black. But when you do the candle gazing, you're going to see the after effects of the candle. The goal is to focus on what you see and keep it there. If it flickers in and out or you just see it for a little while, that means that you need more work on your will and your intention. And you need more work on being lucid. So it's just a matter of practice. You do it as long as you want. Once you can't see that after effect of the candle anymore, then you start over until you feel you've had enough. Breathing, the breath of life. If you want to take a lot of deep breaths while you're doing this, it's very meditative. Some physical benefits of this, of course, it helps your third eye. It helps to develop that will and intention, but it also will improve your eyesight and improves your concentration because you're knocking out that monkey mind. It will definitely open up your clairvoyant vision, but it also really helps with that will and intention that's in your solar plexus. Solar plexus is also color yellow, which is the color of the sun, which is also color of the flame, which is kind of cool. Inner fire, all these puzzle pieces. It just
fits so nicely.
It does, doesn't it? It's like God is really smart, isn't he? Or she. So it should be, now this is just tips. If you can do this early in the morning, if you could do any meditation practice early in the morning, and I'm talking before the sun rises, and everyone's going, oh my gosh, she's crazy. But your brain is automatically wired for meditation before the sun rises. It's just astrological. It goes with the planets, the moon, the cycles of time, the sine waves, and any kind of really good meditation practice it's done better first thing in the morning. It is also very good in the evening. during the day is nice. If that's sometimes the only time I can do anything like this, sometimes is during the day. But if you're going to candle gaze during the day, you really want a dark room. If you're going to gaze during the day, and you might want to find something else to look at as a preliminary practice, but morning's the best. You want to make sure you have a decent size flame. Make sure it has a good wick. The bigger the flame, no, don't burn your houses down, but the bigger the flame, the more that's going into your sight, and the bigger the after light when you close your eyes you're gonna have. So that's pretty much all I have to say about candle gazing. It's very relaxing.
How long should they do it for?
It's individual basis. When you very first start out, depending on how sensitive you are, you might not. Don't push yourself. You're gonna know when you've had enough. It might only be 2 minutes. It might, for some people, they can do this, work up to it for a half hour. We're all different. This is similar to sun gazing, but it's different. It's a different energy. The energy of the flame is it's a different frequency than the energy of the sun. And if you do sun gaze, a lot of people forget in any gazing practice, whether you're staring at a cup, or you're staring at a light bulb, or you're staring at a candle, you're staring at the sun, you have to close your eyes. You need to do that so that you see the afterlight on your psychic screen, because that's what you're trying to also develop, and you can get a good sense of where you are clairvoyantly by that. Because you'll see it move up and down and side to side, and and you'll see it flash on and off, and you just want to be like, you're not doing that. You're not going to move. You're going to stay there. And that's where you just have to go, power
through it.
Yeah, power. I'm in control of me. I'm going to do this, and that's where you develop your will and your intention correctly. And keep that there, and you'll be amazed. And this is a very basic practice leading up to more advanced ones that are way cooler than this. But this is a oldie and a goodie that, even though I am personally doing more advanced stuff, I gaze all the time. I will gaze. I will find myself gazing at anything, especially when my monkey mind goes completely haywire. Which, if you got a mortgage, you got kids, you got a life, it's gonna happen. I will just start staring. I'll just go, enough.
You do.
And I will just stare.
Also.
Yeah, you're a sun gazer. I'm still a little bit chicken to do that, but I will just stare at anything. I just stop and just shut out my mind, just shut myself up, and I stare at whatever is in front of me. And I just don't think. I just shut off the brain and just stare. And then you could just feel yourself staring, and all of a sudden you just can't stop staring at this. And this I've been doing since I was a kid, and the adults would just say, Lisa, Earth to Lisa, where are you, Lisa? Did you leave us? And I was just like, shut up, I want to stare, don't make me stop staring.
That's right, yes, that's so funny. I did that when I was a child too. It was, I would stare and watch the image kind of move a little bit. And
yes!
It was very calming.
Very calming. And the image is moving because the image is not solid. Kids know to do this. I continued it. It felt good to me. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But, I just never stopped because I'm stubborn and I don't exactly listen to what other people tell me to do. I knew it was good for me. So that's why, kids, if you see someone staring out into space and they look like they're on the planet Pop-Tart, well, yeah, they are. I mean, it's a very divine purpose, candle gazing, any kind of gazing. And, all this stuff is coming back for us.
Yeah.
Very calming. It's very peaceful. And it's a good thing to get addicted to.
Yeah, it's so neat that, yeah, and also when you say the knowledge is coming back, just like when I had the dream Thoth is returning, and was told that in my dream. And at this time, the Mayans say Quetzalcoatl is returning,
And that is the Kundalini.
Yeah, it's all about the knowledge is coming back. Yes, Kundalini's rising. It's, you know, it's time now. It's all basically the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's all coming back.
And when you're staring at your candle in the dark, the one thing you want to remember, and the one thing that teaches all of us, and this is a very, very old saying, is out of darkness into the light. Mm-hmm. And that's a big representation of what this candle is in your own personal darkness, because you want to burn that away. And so that's a very beautiful spiritual representation of staring at the candle in the darkness, out of darkness into the light.
Yeah, you're focusing on the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of melts all your cares away.
Yeah, it's very stress relieving.
Yeah, it's a good way to start your day, and it's also a good way to end it. Mm-hmm. Just like this show.
Yeah. I'm very relaxed now.
I know. So do I.
I was just staring at a crystal egg.
I have my organite pyramid in front of me.
Very nice.
Okay, well, I would just like to thank everybody for joining us, and I'm sorry that our Skype cut out. I'm not sure exactly how this is all going to work out, but you know, it is what it is.
And good luck, everyone. And it's so cool to be on this planet with you and going through all of this right now. Wow.
We're rocking and rolling.
Yep.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.